Hi class, this video is to review test number 1. I'm going to start first with part 1, number 1. The first one, you've seen this before in class. It says circle all the skylights in the image below. So we know that skylights, because they're in the roof, are indicated with a hidden line to indicate that they're above us. So, because this is a floor plan, they're going to be above us on the roof plan. So the skylights would be here. It would be in every studio apartment as well as in the central corridor. You can see that there's a line for the skylight. Let's go to number 2. It says which line type is used. So the line type that's used is a hidden line because again it's indicating an object above. For number 3, it says which line type represents a property line. So you all got this right. I'm just going to delete. It's the line that goes around the edge of the property. For number 4, it says circle the symbol that represents the north exterior elevation. So as you can see here, this is the compass, which indicates that north is this way, but this is the symbol, we covered this in class, that's pointing to the north exterior elevation. So if we went to sheet A7, we would see that the north exterior elevation would be on that sheet. 5 says circle the symbol that represents the longitudinal section. So remember, a section that's longitudinal is cutting the long way through the building. So we see this section here running the long way through the building. Now the section is broken up, but it's just because they did it for readability on the drawing. If they had brought this line all the way through, it would have covered this door tag that says 9.2. So the line was just broken, but it still follows that same line. It's cut the long way through the building, so it's a longitudinal section. This would be the cross section would be here, or the transverse section, which would be a shorter section, 1A05 or 2A05. And this right here indicates a call out around the drawing. So please go back and review those symbols until you know them very well, because you're going to see them several other times. Number 6. This symbol represents a duplex receptacle outlet. This figure represents earth compacted, and you can find all of these symbols in your textbook. So all of the symbols for 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 you can find in Unit 5, which is called Use of Symbols in your textbook. You should get very familiar with these symbols because, as I said, while sometimes they're noted on the keynotes of the drawings, sometimes they are not, and we're just expected to know them. The abbreviations we discussed in class, you can also find these in the back of your textbook. The abbreviations are Appendix F, common abbreviations. The questions for Part 2 were pulled off of many of your homework assignments. To go over them, a site plan is going to give information about the site on which the building is being constructed. A room finish schedule provides the builder with materials required in each room of the building. This type of schedule will be found on the architectural drawings because it's a finish schedule. Architects are dealing with finishes. A foundation plan is going to include all the dimensions necessary to lay out the footings and foundation walls. When reading construction prints, the front, side, and back views are called elevations. Views showing the building as if it were cut apart are called sections. The foundation plans, framing plans, and building support systems are going to be found on the structural plans. These are all structure that support the building. If you see S4 on a drawing, what does the letter S stand for? So the first day of class we did an exercise and we talked about S is for structural, A is for architectural, M is for mechanical. P is for plumbing. To find the location of walls, doors, stairways, and fireplaces, you would refer to the floor plan. An approximate size which does not represent any of the actual dimensions of the unit is called a nominal dimension. A nominal dimension would be something like a 2 by 6. The piece of wood does not actually measure 2 by 6. It measures the actual size of a 2 by 6 would be 1.5 by 5.5 inches. That's its actual dimension. So the nominal does not represent actual dimension. The next couple questions are right out of your homework, so make sure that to study for tests, you go back and you review the feedback I gave you on your homework, because if you answered these questions wrong on your homework and then you studied the wrong answer, that would be bad. But if you go back and review the feedback I gave you the right answer. Also, make sure you're reading your textbook. So what I did was I actually went back through my textbook and I highlighted all of the answers, and that would help me study. So the person who acts as the owner's agent is going to be the architect. The blank is generally responsible for obtaining financing for a small building. That's going to be the owner. When completed construction is approved by a building department, a certificate of occupancy is issued. And again, these are all in your textbook. Number 13 we discussed in class, and we said that a floor plan view is a section view taken on a horizontal plane between 4 feet and 6 feet above the finished floor. So remember, for a floor plan, we're not just looking right down on top of the plan. We have to slice the building horizontally, and then we're taking a piece off. Number 14, you can find the answer in your textbook for this, and it's going to be back in Unit 2. What we're looking at here is a gable roof building. The shape of this drawing is going to be oblique. For 16, it says, from figure below, what does 2 represent? It doesn't say what line type is it. It says, what does it represent? So 2 is a hidden line that's going around the edge of the buildings. That's going to represent the roof above, just like we saw on the roof plan when we looked at the normal street studio drawings in class. The figure below is going to indicate elevation. While it is the front view of the house, we call these elevations, so make sure you're using the right terminology. From the figure below, the foundation projects, and you can see 6 inches above the ground. So this is finished grade right here, the dark line, and then the building starts 6 inches above that. Or the foundation goes 6 inches above, excuse me. Now this one, a lot of people struggled with, and this was actually an example that was in your textbook, and it was on your homework assignment as well. But it says, from the figure below, the distance between the kitchen countertop and the bottom of the wall cabinet is. So the kitchen countertop is going to sit on these base cabinets. Base meaning they sit on the ground. Base cabinets. And the upper cabinets start right here. It doesn't start right here. This is a stove, and it has a hood above it, which allows the air to be sucked up over the stove, so that if something burns or you have smells going on in the kitchen, that hood is taking those smells up and out of the house. So there is a cabinet way up here, but it's asking you to look at the dimensions over here, the vertical dimensions. So here's a dimension from the top of the cabinet, and then here's a dimension from the bottom of the upper cabinet, and you can see that the distance is 1'6" between those two cabinets. From the figure below, the left end of the house, so this one over here, is going to face which compass direction? So we can see from this north arrow that it will be north. Number 21 was looking for an orthographic. It says a projection by imagining the object is drawn inside of a glass box. It's going to be an orthographic projection. Now a lot of you answered the north elevation right, but for some reason you got this one wrong. So it says the elevation pointing to the east. So if north we said was the left end of the house, so then east would be the rear end of the house. Referring to the figure below, the bottom of the footing is blank feet below the surface of the ground. So this BOT means bottom of, and FTG means footing. So here's the bottom of the footing. So we're going to follow this dimension string over, and if we go up to finished grade, we can see that the footing is 4 feet below finished grade. So that's below the surface of the ground. This one everyone got right. I'm not going to review it. If you would like to review it, you can look in your book on page 24 for the proper terms. Number 25, everyone got right as well. Number 26, if you're still having trouble with scales, I recommend that you come and see me so that we can discuss this. Remember that back here, these represent inches, and it's always going to be 12 inches. Now there will be more, there could be fewer or than 12 tick marks here, or more than 12 tick marks, but it's always going to be 12 inches. So when I look at this, for the 1/8 inch scale, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 6 tick marks, but it's supposed to represent 12 inches. So that means that each of my tick marks are worth 2 inches. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 inches. So what I'm doing is I am reading the dimension of 2. It goes out, that's 0. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm reading these little numbers up here. The 4, the 8, the 12, the 16, and the 20. You're not going to read these larger numbers. That wouldn't make any sense. Why would we start from 0 and then go to 46? We wouldn't, right? We'd have to start at 1. Or a half, but we wouldn't start at 46. So we're going to go over, and we see that this is 20, 21, this is 22 feet, and then if we read the inches, I said each one of these tick marks was 2 inches, 2, 4, 6 inches. So it's 22 feet, 6 inches. The dimension for 3, again, we're looking at, here's 0, we're not going to start at 92, that doesn't make any sense. We're going to read 0, and if this is 2, this is a half, 1, 1 and a half, 2, 2 and a half, 3, 3 and a half, 4, 4 and a half, 5. So 3 is going to be 5 feet. Dimension 4, down here, we're still looking at these smaller numbers. So we've got, they're going up in increments of 2. So every time you see one of these longer bars, you know it's a whole number. So we have 6, that's 7 feet, and then we have to figure out the inches over here. So the inches, again, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 tick marks, so each one of these tick marks is worth 1 inch. So we have 7 feet, 6 inches. For number 5, same thing, we're still looking at the 1/4 inch scale. We're going to have 11 feet, and then it's right at the last tick mark, so it's 11 feet, 11 inches. So that is the explanations for parts 1 and 2. I'm going to do another video to help you through part 3.